And then after 3 years, I felt like it was the right choice to come back home. So this collection kind of felt like paying homage to that chapter of my life. Dude, like if we like lock in and like really create something for the world to listen to and resonate with.
I'm a busy man. I be making music, putting on events, covering events, and doing podcast interviews. So to stay energized, I've been using W Energy lately. That's today's sponsor. They were gracious enough to send me this flavor right here, Blue Raz. And they also sent me this water bottle. You know what I'm saying? So all you gotta do is you take 1 scoop or 2 scoops, depends on what you be needing. And you just gonna give it a little shake, almost like you making pina coladas or something. And then you good throughout the day. I've been really liking the flavors personally. It tastes exactly what it says. It's blue raspberry. Now the key ingredient here is this coffee fruit extract. It's the reason why you ain't gonna have jitters with this product. There's 0 maltodextrin, 0 fillers, 0 artificial colors or dyes, and no proprietary blends. So you need to go get you some. Use the code SW210 for 10% off on your order. That's code SW210 at checkout to get 10% off your order. They got a bunch of different flavors and a bunch of different collabs, and they always coming out with new stuff. So yeah, tap in. W Energy, be better. Yo, what's happening? Another episode of Smoking with Too Tall. Today I got a guest sitting next to me. Introduce yourself and drop your socials, my guy.
What's going on, guys? Shiloh Moore here from More Creators. Shiloh Moore 15 on Instagram, More Creators as well.
Okay, and so you do a lot of different things. I guess we'll start off with your most recent drop of the album that you made, the Sonical one.
Yeah.
So on Spotify, it's only listed as More Creators. So tell me a little bit about who was involved with like the creation of it and all that.
That's like AI. It's been like an AI test project.
Okay.
So I just been like messing around with like party music and like house music and whatnot, and I've been journaling throughout the end of the year and just kind of reminiscing about 2025. And I wanted to start off 2026 with a bang. So I was like, let me just put out some music with some of the things I've been writing. So it's just kind of prompting, messing around. I mean, there's probably like 40 different versions of each song. And it just got down to that's kind of like the final version. So, no, I wanted to create something that I like to listen to. Maybe something in the gym or something that like keeps me focused on like the plan and the mission and the vision. So start the first song with mission and then just kind of a whole full circle from there.
Yeah, and you also run the More Creator page, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And that's got a bunch of artists and a bunch of different creative talents in general. What made you want to, where did you start with? Did you start with your fashion brand and then realize like, oh, it's all linked or like
Yeah, so I started with clothes as Shiloh Moore Collection. So I did like 3 or 4 years of that, and it was after the 3rd show I realized I was like, like this is way bigger than me at this point. Like we got artists here, we have photographers here, we got so many creative talents, and I'm like, outside of them rocking my clothes, like let's just be one big community. So that's when after like the 3rd episode I was like done, and I was like, I really want to switch it to a creative community for everybody.
Oh, yes.
So I dropped, it used to be SMC, so now it's just MC, so More Creators now.
Oh, yeah. And I see there's a bunch of footage on the website about the CTN Fest that was just happened in Manchester.
Yeah, that was super dope.
How'd you hear about that?
Yeah, Coco, I mean, those are a bunch of my close friends. So Coco performed at the art exhibition that I held. John Evolve has been one of my best friends for forever now. He walked in like episode 2, like 2019, so mad years ago. Rose is honestly a great person as well. Addie, everybody. Just been linked with everybody. So I think once they did my show, they were like, we can definitely do this again.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun.
And your drops, like you just said, episode 2, why do you decide to like call them episodes?
I've always been a huge Star Wars fan.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I was like, I really want to kind of like stick with that. People do seasons, people do collections. I never really like wanted to like, I just want to be a little bit different, you know? And I also feel like looking back, like each of them are like episodes of my life. And there's a meaning behind all of them. There's a name. There's only 3 colors for each episode. And it's all like, it's really turning into this one big story. It started in 2018 and now 2024 we released episode 4, or 2025. So yeah, it's been a fun journey with the close.
Hell yeah. And you've been doing this for a little minute. If you could give yourself like advice from when you started, like with the experience that you have now, what would you say to yourself?
Yeah, I mean, just take the amount of risks that you take is the you're probably gonna get half the reward. So it's just like if you keep taking risks, like you're really not gonna get much out of it if you don't put into it. So it's gonna only go as much as you're willing to go, and setting that time aside, whether it's money or whatever, focus, like keep investing that into yourself and be dedicated and be focused and be purposeful about what you're doing, because if as long as you have that, like it'll probably get you to the next step.
Hell yeah. What
So
goes into your creative process for each design then? Like, where do you get your inspiration for?
man, I think about where I was and then where I want to be, and I just try to capture like the now. This most recent collection, it's called Solar, for the reason because I actually felt like it was the right time in my life to move to Florida. I lived in Florida in Miami Beach for 3 years. So, and then after 3 years, I felt like it was the right choice to come back home. So this collection kind of felt like paying homage to that chapter of my life, and like solar being like the sun, like the most powerful resource in like the world, and like me bringing that a slice of that experience back home. So from there, just developed the colors as like sun, space, and meteor, and that kind of develops more into a larger story. But I wanted the whole collection to be revolved around the sun.
That's fire.
Yeah, yeah. So each piece, like even like episode 3 was really cool. It was called Sanctuary, and it happened to be in 2020, which was the year of COVID, and we were actually looking for like a safe place to do the show. I was originally gonna do it at like a movie theater, and obviously we couldn't do that because of COVID.
Right.
So it ended up being way bigger than it was supposed to be. We ended up doing it at Fisher Cat Stadium at Delta Dental. So that was like, we used, the locker rooms to change, and we used the whole diamond. We had tables and chairs out on the field. So, and it just felt like it was just meant to be. And the collection being called Sanctuary, we provided a safe place for everybody to come and enjoy the show. It just felt like we hit the head on the nail there.
Would you say that's probably your most memorable episode or your favorite?
Yeah, probably for sure. Just because that year was so full of like twists and turns, and just like what we were able to create and how it just all developed. Yeah, it was a good, and I do them in trilogies too. So, I mean, this is the first time I've done one since then, since 2020. So it was a good ending for that trilogy. So now it's nice to start this back up again, and I'm looking forward to kind of tell this story.
What was the context on the all these red flicks? Which episode was that one?
This one, the orange one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's episode 4. That's the one we just did.
Okay.
So the orange color represents space.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool.
And I seen like a couple of posts where you had like faith or like quotes and stuff like that. How do you incorporate that into your brand?
Yeah, man, I don't really want to force like God or religion on anybody. I think people find it in their own way.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, being healthy. Like you can't really just force a routine on somebody. You kind of just got to let them figure it out for themselves. And that's the same thing with me. Like I'm glad my mom never like forced me into like whatever. I just found it on my own. I found it through music, honestly, and then started rocking Fear of God, and then like from there it just kind of felt like full circle. So actually I did some projects between 2020 and now that were focused a little bit more on like crosses and faith, and that's where we ended up with the plus sign, because I feel like it's a hybrid of the cross and the plus, and it just kind of fits with the word more, because like the minus sign is less and the plus sign is more. So, and I just love that my last name can like be a positive message. We need more love, we need more hope, we need more, creativity. So, there's always something that we can do more of, and that's where we landed with the symbol. So that's kind of that hybrid. So some people see a cross and they call it a cross. Some people see a plus and they call it a plus. And I love that, depending on your perspective, like you see something different there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like art in itself
Yeah,
almost. Yeah,
exactly.
And speaking of like hope and whatnot, I peeped that you had a like More Kids project. Like,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about what that was.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Manchester, pretty much lived here almost my whole life besides the years in Florida. So I always wanted to give back, and like I just, being creative as a kid, like art class was always my favorite class. So I would bring t-shirts to, my old teachers in like second grade or third grade. I did a couple kindergarten classes even last month. We bring t-shirts for all the kids, and same exercise. We ask the kids, what does the world need more of? And as a kindergartner, they're saying funny stuff. Like they write like more 6-7 or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? More slime or whatever. And it's just funny because like I love just how like just naive it is. And it just reminds me of being a kid. So yeah, we just hand out t-shirts for all the kids, give them fabric markers and just let them go to town. And I always try to do a little bit of a bigger size so then they can grow into it and they can bring it home and they can design on it. Because some of the designs these kids do are incredible. Just kind of enables that creativity, but then also, like, make sure you write your word and stick to your word and, like, commit to that. If you want to do more love or whatever, like, you're going to practice that at home.
What are some of like the biggest hurdles then that you face when you are putting together all these different kinds of events? Because you do things like with kids or the music or like fashion or whatever it may be.
The hardest part is probably doing all these different things.
Yeah.
Like I feel definitely spread thin at times because it feels like I have like so many different things. I have so many ideas, and I can only run so far before something else starts to dwindle down. So keeping a balance of the ideas, whether it's events, clothing collections, the kids' exercise collection project. And then, keeping more creators up and running too has definitely been like the hurdle, So it's trying to stick to like 3 things and then, a goal for each of those things on a quarterly basis.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with the new year, it's been really helpful to get organized. I got one of those, like, they call it the big ass calendar.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like every single day of the year's on it. So it allows me to kind of really organize and plan ahead. Because I'm a very like work backwards person. If I know where I want to end up and I know where I want to be and I know I want to execute, that's always clear. What's not clear to me is knowing what to do today,
Right.
and to get to that point. So I always kind of work backwards from there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I peep on the website, there's a section called art, and there's a bunch of paintings here. I'm assuming these were ones that you created?
No, that was actually an artist that we had at the art exhibition event. So what I did in October, we had a live artist exhibition event. So it was a hybrid of 9 artists in 90 minutes. So every 10 minutes, there was a new artist on stage doing their craft. So we had 3, like it was a music performance, and then we went to a live artist painting live on stage, and then we would do a fashion show for a clothing brand. And then we would just do it again, same thing, but a new rapper on stage, another artist, another clothing brand. Because I always felt like art, fashion, and music are so intertwined. They all inspire each other.
Yeah.
My like 2 best friends growing up, one was a photographer and one was a rapper, and like the 3 of us, and I was always the clothing guy, and the 3 of us needed each other. Like he wanted whether the rapper wanted a music video, like he would need clothes, or the photographer needed a model, like he would need it, you know what I mean? He would need the rapper, and like vice versa. So
It's all an ecosystem that feeds off
yeah,
of each
so
other.
like rather than just throwing another like fashion show, which I've done like 4 of, I really wanted to invite the community and like give people like, I mean, a lot of people, that was their first time ever being on stage. We had probably like 120 people in the audience, and like, I try to make it as dope as possible, make visuals for each of the artists, and like, this is your time to shine, you know what I mean? So I want to keep doing that this year, because that was the first great like kind of test run.
What other things do you have planned for the upcoming year then?
Man, activating in other cities. I've got some family in New York. I've been to New York so many times. And I got some people in LA, obviously a lot of connections in Miami after living there for 3 years. So definitely growing the brand, because I mean, New Hampshire, it's small, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I love it though. Like, I don't really have plans to be anywhere else, but I want to definitely expand the growth as well. You know, you can only be so big here, but if there's other artists out there too, you know, and that go back to doing multiple things at once. Like I'm trying to split my focus between who's within 100 miles of me and then who's 100,000 miles away.
Right.
Yeah. So I actually started a series called State of the Art, and the first one will drop this week, and it's literally me spinning a wheel, selecting a random state, and then the other wheel is like a type of art. So whether you could be a violinist, you could be a photographer, you could be, you know, whatever, and it's my job to find that person from that state and connect with them.
Oh, yeah.
So I just did the first one. It happened to be like a rapper in Atlanta, so it worked out.
Perfect,
It was rapper in Georgia. I was like, this is perfect. So yeah, but that'll be a fun series. So that'll allow me to expand and connect outside of New Hampshire.
Is that why you like traveled to Argentina and did the Antarctica thing in 2022 and all that?
Yeah, man, that was like, I mean, that was more like pleasure travel than anything.
Okay.
But anytime I am traveling, like I'm always thinking business wise. Like I'm
So
always,
what'd you take away from those experiences?
yeah, like I just see different ways of culture. I mean, Miami was like such a good experience. Like it's basically Latin America in one melting pot, and the languages, the music, the food, like I always kind of take a piece of that, and if I can add that into what I'm creating, yeah, that definitely. I mean, I'd love to do like a Miami like swimsuit collection at some point. Like I never even thought of that. I'm such a layered guy, like, and that's why I probably didn't even make clothes in Florida, because I'm like such a fall winter layer person. I was like, the thought of making a bikini is crazy.
Right.
So, but yeah, I love to pour that into everything I do for sure.
Was it sketchy when you did the Antarctica thing? Because I was reading that was the first time that cruise ship had ever like been out there.
First time ever. Yeah. So it was definitely like crazy. I mean, we passed through the Drake Passage. If you ever look up the Drake Passage, it's like 50-foot waves.
Oh shit.
We were probably like in our room like for 2 days, and like nobody got out of their rooms because it was just so crazy. But yeah, man, and then once we got there, it was pure ice, like so clean, so clear. Not a lot of people that live in Antarctica,
Yeah.
which is like, you know, to be expected. But it was just climb up like the mountains and like go kayaking. They had submarines on board. It was just, again, like I've always thought about doing like an ocean collection. So that I think would tie in really well once I do like an ocean something, because I learned a lot about the ocean and ice and like nature.
What is like your favorite kind of pieces to design? Do you have like a preference?
Definitely outerwear.
Okay.
I think pants too are like really hard to shop for these days. So I've definitely experimented with a lot of different pants. I'd love to get into shoes. The one thing I don't ever like allow is like other brands when I'm doing my show. So like literally for 4 episodes now and 4 different live fashion shows, all my models have been barefoot. I never was like, no Adidas, no Nike, no nothing. Like I don't want anything that wasn't mine on them. So hopefully with 5 or 6, we'll get some footwear going. That's definitely a huge goal of mine.
How do you put together outfits? Like, do you start with like dressing them at the pants or at the what level?
It's funny you say that, because I spent so much time, especially with episode 3, because that was 45 models. Like it was a lot to manage for one person. I had 2 model managers at that show, one for the guys and one for the girls. And it wasn't till, and I definitely have to like back up, because there's like, it was episode 0. I did an episode 0 in 2022, and that was like the rebrand, because I basically wanted to go back, rebrand, so I called it 0, Born Again, which was like, it's candid, but it's not. It wasn't until that show that I figured out, let the models dress themselves. And I was so busy that day, and it ended up being like 20 minutes before the show, and I go upstairs and everybody's dressed, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I was like, what the fuck? So then it was like perfect though, because they wore things that I would have never put them in. Like I imagined her and this and him and that, and like, someone turned their shirt around and like they were just comfortable in what they picked out, and you could just tell their outfits were them. And I was like, I should have been doing this the whole time. So from here on out, that's what I do. Like I just design it, I make it, and then like I let them pick, and I'm so happy. Like even if you see some of the pictures from the show in October, like I would definitely not have made those choices that they made for themselves. And then I'm glad that I give them that freedom, because every model, is their own canvas, and like they have their own style and they have their own look, and it ended up being really cool. So that was a cool click.
Do you ever look for like a specific kind of like look when you're looking for models, or is it kind of like how do you vet your process?
Yeah, I've always been like, it's funny because like all the models will say like, what's the look? Like, what's my hair? What's my makeup? And I'm like, whatever you want to come with. Like, I'm not, obviously like you want to look for someone who's like attractive or whatever, but I also believe that anybody can be a model. I want to say almost every show, half the models, it's the first time modeling. I don't really go for like the professional or like, the licensed or like the managed model or whatever. I honestly believe anybody can be a model. That's how I started. Like I literally was an advertising major in school, and then there was a school fashion show. I went to tryouts and there was 6 designers, and I found out the next day that all 6 designers wanted me. And I was like, this is crazy. I'm like, I never considered myself to be a model. I was like, it was like the Yeezy era. Like I was just wearing Yeezys, whatever. And I did that show, and at the very end of that show, like it clicked to me, like I'm coming back next year to this show, and I'm not gonna be a model, I'm gonna be a designer. And I just knew it. I was like, this is where I belong. So the next year, I became the creative director on campus at that university. It was Johnson Wales in Providence, Rhode Island. And I created episode 1, my first collection, and came back as a designer, picked out my models, and then, from there it was history.
Hell yeah. Who are some of the designers that like influenced and inspired you?
Definitely Ye. The Easy Season stuff was crazy. I love Fear of God. Like, I think Jerry Lorenzo was, like, really, really cool. His stuff, like, the essential stuff is, like, I love how more obtainable that stuff is. It's more affordable. Because I never really go for the high-class stuff. Off-White's always been cool to me. I don't know. I feel like I wear more, like, tour merch now than anything. Like, Cardi, like, I hate to say it, it's so cliche, but like he's been like my saving grace ever since Kanye kind of fell off. But yeah, man, I don't know. Right now my style's like very like tech-weary, very tech, very just like cargo-y, like, and neutrals. Yeah, I don't really pull from anyone from like inspo right now. I see like images and like styles from like people who are like influencers or whatever, and like I'll just try to like there's something about either a piece or the environment that they're in that I'm like, I like that.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna use that for something.
Hell yeah.
So
what is your favorite place that you have traveled? Like just period, because you've been to so many.
I don't even know. I would say that's a tough. I'd say LA. Honestly, like, and it's actually like my least favorite place I traveled, but I think I pulled the most culturally out of the trip.
Okay.
Just from what I saw and like the people that I met. LA's got it going on.
I peeped on your profile too that you linked up with, is it Ray Ripley from the WWE?
Yeah.
Tell me what happened with that.
That was dope, bro. My brother just like hooked it up. He got us into Big Night Live, and they were doing Raw the next day.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Rhea Ripley. I think she's super dope. I think she just like is so different from the other female wrestlers, and I think that's what she's got going for her. And that's totally like my vibe. Yeah, she's fire.
Yeah, and a minute ago you were just talking about Playboy Cardi. I peeped that you was at a Playboy concert.
Yeah.
And what did you take away from that? Did you take away anything that you could incorporate into your own events?
Yeah, I actually went with my girl and J1K. Shout out to him. And I looked at him and was like, we can do this. Like, I was like, yo, give it a little bit more time and like we can do this. Like Opium and like Antagonist and like the whole group and like, dude, like if we like lock in and like really create something for the world to listen to and resonate with, like I've never, and that's how I feel even going to like clubs and stuff. Like I've always been super analytical, like on the business side. Like I almost like don't enjoy it. Like I'm not there as a consumer. I'm there as like a, let me figure this out, you know? So, but I mean, the concert itself was crazy. Like I love that type of music. Half the time I don't know what he's saying. I didn't even see him because like it's like getting flashbang the whole freaking concert. But something about the instruments that he uses and just his voice, like it gives me so much energy, and that's what I love. Like I don't really drink, I don't really do drugs or anything. I'm a pretty like sober, healthy person, but if I can like listen to Cardi and have a Celsius, dude, like I'm like super energized.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's like when I'm like flow state.
And you just mentioned J1K. You've mentioned Addy earlier. I see Foreign on the website. Do you ever see you just dropped that album, the Sonical one, which was AI. Do you ever see yourself like curating an album with all the people that you know?
Totally. Like I've always like how can I like DJ Khaled this or like, you know, like I've always been like, as much as I'm an artist, I feel like I'm an organizer, and I just see a lot of myself in these guys, whether it's music, whether it's fashion. You know, there's a lot of clothing brands that I want to help out too, because I know what that's like. You know, I did that almost 10 years ago. And yeah, man, I'd love to. I think this album was kind of like, let me just dabble and see what can come of this. And I hope at the end of the year we can see some pretty cool stuff that we create, because there's a lot of cool stuff with the AI, man. Like I know it kind of takes away a little bit from the hard work that goes into being an actual music artist, but there's a lot of cool stuff that we can use it for.
Well, what do you think about AI in the art world, and like incorporating it into?
I think it can only help. I think it can only inspire. Like I think like it's writing emails, it's doing so many things, and I would just use it as a tool. I wouldn't, turn it into an enemy. I would just use it as a tool. So.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you popping out. If you have any more departing words for the cameras, drop your socials and all that. Appreciate you popping out.
Thank you, thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Yeah,
I think you guys got a lot going on within the creative community. Like that's why I moved back here to just be with the creatives and the artists, and like, I'm that myself, and whatever I can do, my mission is to provide opportunities and resources for artists, and it's like, whatever I can do to get you to your next step, and that means so many things. I've always considered more creators as like the jack of all trades. So if it's, visualizers, lyrics, merchandise is like definitely my sweet spot. Like, I mean, I've been doing merch for so long. So yeah, man, tap into more creators. We're going to be highlighting artists and, helping everybody get to the next step. So I see 365 days, 365 artists that can help.
Hell yeah.
So
that's why we do it, bro, for the art.
Absolutely, bro.
And so it's been Smoking with Too Tall. Again, we're sponsored with this episode, W Energy, code SW210. You know what I'm saying? Got Blue Raz on deck, but they got mad flavors on flavors on flavors, and you can combine that with whatever. So go get that 10% off at checkout. It's been Smoking with Too Tall, and yeah, y'all uplift yourself.
Appreciate y'all.